Hey guys, so welcome to another video about music. Today we're going to be talking about Carmen by Bizet, which is probably one of my absolute favorite operas in the whole world. This opera was written in 1875 by Georges Bizet. It is pretty different from what opera sounded like at this time. It had a lot of Spanish vibes to it, and the music was just a lot more interesting in my opinion. So today we're talking about probably one of the most well-known pieces from Carmen, which is the Habanera, or L'amour et oiseau rebelle. This is sung by Carmen, who is a gypsy woman in this opera, and she's talking about how love is a rebellious bird, and she's talking about how it's hard to trap her because she's a very free mind and a free spirit. So what I find really magical about this piece is the whole piece is in a mode, so it's not really in a key, it's just a lot of descending chromatic lines and this almost droning D note in the bass. What I find really interesting about this aria though is that there are these loud outbursts of the chorus throughout the whole entire piece, like da 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 da, and then she sings her little part, which I think is really cool because being a singer myself, having the ability to sing within someone's aria, especially as epic as this one is, I think is like really magical and really cool, especially since you're singing something very similar to what she's singing. I also find Carmen's high notes really magical too, just because at this time there weren't a lot of mezzo leading roles in opera, and Carmen is a mezzo-soprano. So her high notes in this are really cool because they have a different sound than just a typical soprano sound. They're more rich in tone. The specific things that drew me to this piece, I really like the descending chromatic lines throughout the whole piece. I think they're really cool, and I think that they make this piece really complicated to learn, but also really intriguing to listen to. It's very sexual and very sensual and very much Carmen, very much her character, which is very promiscuous and kind of out there, a little outrageous. I also find that driving bass part really cool too, because it just kind of keeps you like, ah yes, we're in some sort of mode or key, like there's at least some tonality there. I also, like, again, think that the chorus is really cool in this piece. So with that said, we're going to talk about two of my favorite performances, and I'm going to show you guys a really cool image. All right, this is a really cool image. This is the first Carmen that was ever portrayed. She is from France, obviously, because that's where it premiered, was in Paris. She's got this really cool skirt, and she's got a little tambourine, and she has a very provocative look on her face, which I love. And then this is a drawing of what the stage looked like. I'll kind of zoom out a little bit. That's kind of what it looked like when it premiered, which I think is also super cool. Also, if we're gonna go to some performances, let's do that now. All right, guys, this is my absolute favorite performance of Carmen, the Habanera by Elena Garancia. She is very provocative and very sensual in her performance, which I think is essential for this piece. Her voice also has a really rich tone, which I really like. Also, the way that she just stands and sits with her legs open like that is so unwomanly-like in this time, and is very dominant, which I think is really cool. Her acting is just also so incredible. This is a production done in 2010 at the Met. All right, and then Also have Miss Maria Callas, who also is one of my favorite Carmens. So the difference between her and Alina Garancha is Maria Callas, in my opinion, doesn't have the best voice for Carmen. She doesn't have that rich tone that a mezzo has because she is a soprano. But her acting is really, really good, and it's perfect for this role. And she always portrayed her characters so perfectly. So I think that's kind of the real difference between Maria's version of Carmen and Alina's version. This is also a different point in our history. This is done in 1962. So I think being super provocative on stage for a woman was still kind of a lot, even for opera. So I don't think it was very traditional of her to be as provocative as Alina, but I think she does a really, really good job. That concludes my video on Carmen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day.